I guess welcome everybody to the, what month is this? April version of the Ask Me Anything or Ask the Experts, whichever.
Kevin, I have a question I entertained before we started the meeting. I was on Apple News this morning, and one of the stations I followed had a bit on tech in the latest hack with phones, and that is stealing your phone number and then convincing another carrier that they are you and getting a SIM assigned to their own phone, which opens up a whole new pathway into like hacking a two-factor authentication where one has the factor texted to you and ends up going to their new hacked phone, along with other things that they have access to, which they can then go into your accounts if they know where to find your accounts and change passwords, etc. So it's a lot of scary things out there, but this was a new one on me, so I thought I'd throw it out there for everybody to kind of digest and think about. The
Yep.
recommended fixes were pretty much what we recommend all the time in security is that, use a different password, use a very tough password, two-factor authentication, etc. But I never thought about, our phone numbers tend to get pretty well spread around through all the damn people that sell our information. And one of the suggestions is to get a burner phone to do all your online stuff. And they go like, that's a little bit of an inconvenience.
Well, several years ago that actually came out, and a lot of people were saying that using your email address or your phone number for the second form of authentication is hackable. Because if somebody gets a hold of your email and you have them send you the code via email, um, you're no longer secure. Same thing with the phone number. Phone numbers
Yeah.
can be spoofed. They don't even have to get an eSIM. There are ways of spoofing a phone number.
Yeah.
So that's why two-factor using, a generated one-time passcode is preferred, since that is not hackable. Um, that and passkeys, but passkeys still, on most of the sites that I use passkeys, they've been more of a problem than a help because they
Yeah.
still require a second form of authentication besides the passkey, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. I find the problem with I like Authy, but not every place that I work with accepts Authy. There's a few of them that still want to text me
Right.
the code, and that's kind of frustrating. Authy is kind of getting better, and I'm sure there's other equivalents to Authy. But again, until everybody has an opportunity to choose which one you use, kind of stuck with either going to get my email, you're going to get my text, phone number, or the two-factor authentication, and that's kind of out in the wild there.
Yeah, the 2FA that you use Authy for, you can use 1Password, or there's hundreds of different authentication apps. Google has their own, and they all use your email address, the domain that you're logging into, and a secret key. So the combination of the three is what generates that code.
Yeah, and
And
it works great, when
yeah,
I can use it. But again, you walk in it not really thinking much about it, but I go like, there are some accounts that they do not offer the option to use my authenticator. And
yeah,
that,
and some don't necessarily need it. Like when you're doing, I don't know if you've ever used Chase.com or American Express. What they do is they place a cookie on your computer after you authenticate with them. They do have to authenticate either by text or email, or they call you. But once that cookie is placed, that's your second form of authentication. So it, saves you time and hassle on the second logins.
I don't use either of those, so I can't speak to that.
Anybody else, or is it going to be a quiet one?
I got some questions. This week I got two.
Hi, Denny, go ahead.
I'm helping my daughter build a house down in Arivaca. And we've built houses other states before. And I always build a punch list that's several hundred items. And I want to be able to have her edit it and me edit it. What's the recommended way to do that?
Is she on an iOS device, or
Yes, she's an Apple person.
you could use the Notes app and just share the note with her?
It's what we're sharing is a number spreadsheet.
You could do that, and then she'll have to just use her computer that has numbers on it,
She
or a
does.
website. And yeah, that's fine as long as you share it.
Share it how?
On numbers, hold on a second. Let me pull up numbers. See if I don't even have it on here. I think I have pages.
I can pull it up if you want.
There should be an option to share a document once you place it on the web. So let me create a document. I'm just going to do a blank one. On the pages. I don't
wanna-
see it here. You may have to log into iCloud.
No,
Right.
you can do it from the app.
Can you do it from the app?
Yeah, let me pull it
Well,
up
it works
here.
fine on iCloud for sharing with another individual. We did that years ago with our daughter when she was trying to understand how to keep her books. And we'd use spreadsheets and send them back and forth into the common shared file between us, and it was secure just between her and
Right.
myself. But I don't think I've ever tried it just directly from the app without going through the cloud.
Where
So,
would you store the file? In iCloud?
Yeah, you have to store the file in iCloud,
so here it is.
and but that's sharing. That's different.
No, it seems to be different, but when you go to share,
Does it give you an option to subscribe?
it well, it should maybe. Okay, we'll just call this delete. It wants a name here before I can share it. Okay, so now you see when you go to share, collaborate is right there on the top. So then you can either
Okay.
you can either text somebody or email them,
Right.
and then
But that usually makes it read only.
no, I think it's on collaborate it's read and write.
Okay. I don't see an option for collaboration there, so let me
You see
open
right
up a
here?
new. No, that doesn't show up on yours.
Oh, you're not seeing the drop down?
No, sir.
Oh.
Let me-
Okay, let's see. How can we do that? Well, here, I will collaborate with you. So I will send you an email. It says, couldn't add
Yeah.
people. A link couldn't be created to share.
Yeah, it says under collaborate, got it on mine. Only invited people can edit. So you send them a link. I guess it's very similar to how they do that on yeah, on Notes when you subscribe.
Well, that's weird. Oh, okay, now it's working. Okay, so I'm going to send this to you, Kevin,
Okay.
and then you can show it. Okay, here we go. I clicked on send, and there it goes, updating. So now when I go up here, you see there's a little person there now, and you see
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. Can you see that?
And how do I know about, oh, I just got, nope. Let me check my email.
Okay, I'll stop.
Yep, I just got,
I'll stop sharing and then you can show yours, what you got.
yeah. So let me, how do I share my screen?
So it's right in the
What
center.
is
It
it?
just says share now with the up arrow.
Share. Okay, desktop one. Open system setting. Give me a second. Let me just set this up. And Zoom. This later. And there goes. So I just got this email with open my shared documents. And it opens it up on the web.
So a trick there is if you want to collaborate with somebody on Windows, then that's when you can do it through iCloud. They just need an Apple ID.
Yes. And here's the documents, accept invitation. And there's the chart that you made. And if I change, continue, if I change this from a 7 to a 3, that should change automatically on your end, Roger.
Right.
So, yep, that's how you would do it.
Okay, we'll give it a shot. I'll
So
work with it.
does she have internet at the housing
She has
site?
internet. She's off the grid, but she still has internet. And she has an Apple laptop.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay, that's my first question for the
And I'm going to stop sharing. Okay.
I'll give a report later if that works for us. Okay, now the second thing, I communicate with her text, audio text.
Mm-hmm.
We've had past hundreds, but on my phone, every time she gets a text, I've got hundreds of Denise Smith kept an audio message from you, and I can't find a way to delete those.
What does it say that she kept the audio message?
Like on my text screen on Friday at 3:33, Denise A. Smith kept an audio message from you.
Okay.
I had sent her a text with hitting the little plus and dictating the audio, and she gets it, reads it, and then I get this message that I can't get off my.
Okay. So on that particular audio clipping that you have, if you press and hold down on it, a sub menu should come up and one of the options should be to delete it.
Nothing comes up. I'm pressing it right now.
Okay. Hold on a second. Oh, those are, let me see that again, Denny. Nope, go up higher. Yeah, those are just alerts. Those, I don't think you can get rid of those. The only way to get rid of it would be to close the message and then start a new message.
Okay. Got hundreds of them.
Yeah. So I think the only way to get rid of those would be just to close out that message and then, start a new one. Or if you, do you see if you look at your screen on the very top, let me pull this up on this. Does it have, nope, I don't see it. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, it's on alerts like that. I don't see anything, and there's no way of editing individual messages. So Um, yeah, the only thing that I could say is delete the thread and start a new thread.
Okay. I'll try to save the things that are in there because I've got a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the information and advice.
Anybody else have anything going on?
I may have a comment.
Go ahead.
If he were using this same thing on a real computer instead of an iPhone, would that make a difference in what he could do?
It might.
Okay, that's why I think, I don't like damn phone for doing computer stuff, frankly.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't see a way in. I see a way of similar, like holding down and deleting an individual message, but not an alert that pops up.
Yeah. I'll have to look on my laptop in the messages and see if I'm not sure I get that same notification. I haven't paid that attention to that.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, I just switched over and checked on my laptop and those notifications are not there. It's only on my iPhone.
Yeah, it could be because the audio was sent on your iPhone.
Yes. I'll have to try sending an audio text on my laptop and see if what happens there.
Okay. Anybody else? It's a quiet day.
I have a question.
Shoot.
You know, this latest OS that Mac introduced, the Sonoma one. I think that's the ugliest dang picture they ever picked to put with a new OS, but I don't need it on my computer only when I have to. And that's when I start up, I think. But I've tried to put what is it on if you go to the system settings, wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
And I have several times chosen other pictures that I like better than that one to be on my computer. And I keep getting this ugly dang thing from Sonoma, and I don't know what to do about it. Is it possible why does it change? Once I set it, why does it change and go back?
It shouldn't if you just have a simple image selected. Like I have a image that I use and it's always there on my laptop and it doesn't matter what display I use. Are you sure in there? So when you right click on your desktop and go to change wallpaper.
I've never done it. I've always gone to settings.
Yeah, but that's the hard way.
Okay. And I didn't know you could do it this other way. That's why I'm asking you.
Lots of shortcuts in Apple.
Hey,
I think
Gerald,
even when I did that, I think it just opened settings.
Gerald, are
Yeah.
you running Apple Spaces or do you just have one desktop? You just
Actually,
got one desktop,
I have
right?
I have dual monitors, but as far as I know, there's only one desktop for each one.
Right.
So what I've
And you
chosen, I've got
and
a picture of a robin in a bird bath for wallpaper number 1, for display number 1. Display number 2 is a hummingbird that's
right.
sitting in there, and I've tried to put those on there and keep them there, and I keep getting this dang Sonoma thing. I just seems like it wants to go back there no matter what I do.
So when you have your to the right of where it says wallpaper, let's look at display 1. It should say the name of the image, correct? To the right of it?
Says this, and I've got it set for display 2. It has
Okay.
a file number, enhanced, fit to the screen. Is a drop down thing, fit to the screen, stretch to fit, center, fill the screen, that kind of thing.
I usually use fill screen. That usually seems to work
Well,
best.
and that might work better now that I think about it, maybe.
And then on the very, very bottom, let me see here where they added it. Nope, I don't see it. There used to be a setting to change wallpapers, and I don't see it anymore. So that should be all you need. Now, when you start your
Well, Kevin,
computer,
I think that fill the screen kind of did it. Looks to me like, we'll just have to see how long it stays there, I guess.
it should stay there, and you should see the same thing on boot when you start up, when you get your login screen, as long as you don't have File Vault turned on. If you have File Vault turned on, then you would see the
No,
Sonoma
don't
screensaver.
use that. But I have my robin and my hummingbird on here right now, just behind you guys.
Okay.
Okay,
Hopefully it
thank you.
just stays
We'll
there.
try that for a while and see what happens.
Kevin, I've anecdotally observed that. But I'm only running 4 spaces right now, but sometimes I run 6 or 8 if I've got different desktops for things, like one for Photoshop, one for Lightroom, and so on. And I had individual photos for those. Some of those were the 2005 photos that Steve Jobs submitted anonymously and they were chosen, which is very kind of cool, like that black and white shot that looks like Ansel Adams in the Eastern Sierras. Steve actually shot that.
Yeah. I have that
and
poster on my wall.
Oh, you do? Wow, it's an awesome shot. But Sonoma has been sort of eminent domain taking over my spaces. And it's just randomly over time, I notice, oh, Sonoma's on there now.
Well,
I'm not sure why.
And I think that's what's been happening to me too. Same thing.
well, one of the things that happens is when you update your operating system, sometimes it loses the link as to where a photo is. I know when I upgraded to Sonoma,
Okay.
I had to redo all of my desktops because it put the Sonoma desktops. I had to tell it where my pictures are. And then when I switched over to iCloud Drive, so I could sync multiple computers, I had to do it again.
That could be it. That could be
So,
it. Yeah.
yeah, Gerald, another cute trick. Do you see up in your, let me see which one works with this. Um Option. See which one. It used to be that if you go into like sound, if you have the sound, the volume button up on your menu bar, and if you hold down the option key and click on any of those up there, it'll bring you into the preferences. I don't know if Sonoma does that or not anymore.
Well, I don't keep sound up in the menu myself.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of shortcuts in the Mac OS.
Well,
Well,
we're
as I say,
also in the
thing
Sonoma
that was
betas.
concerning me was I'd set it, and then a few days later or a day later, it'd be back to looking at Sonoma Hills, from a drone, I think, probably at noon.
Yeah.
No contrast in that dang picture.
Yeah, it's also the Sonoma betas. They may figure it out a little later on too, Kevin.
Yep,
In
could
a
be.
subsequent update. Yeah.
I know the
By
last
the
version
way,
of Sonoma messed up so many things for so many people.
I heard back from my developer friend in Florida. He is
Mhm.
not up to date on running multiple OSs on Apple Silicon.
I don't have to worry about that because Apple found my 2019 MacBook Pro. They lost it a week ago and they were going to replace it with an M3, but now they found it. So I'm back. I'll be up in business in a few days.
See, I would say darn.
Well, as I was saying, I use virtual machines for a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And without that, I'd be in a world of trouble.
Yeah. So anyway, quick aside, sorry about that, but he just replied.
So Kevin, are you saying don't update to Sonoma?
I would update to Sonoma. It really depends on the software that you use. I had a client that upgraded today, and the only thing that she had to do was upgrade Carbon Copy Cloner afterwards.
But you also want to make sure your printer is compatible.
Well, 4.4.1 supposedly fixed that. And so they fixed that and the hub issue that some people had. And 4.5 is in beta right now, so that should be out in a couple of weeks. But Mark, I don't see any problem upgrading. Depending on what operating system are you on now?
Hmm. Ventura.
Okay, yeah, to go from from Ventura to Sonoma is no big deal.
Okay, thanks.
Question, CleanMyMac, is that a good?
What was that?
He's gonna be swapping out our router and stuff. He was wanting to give you a heads up, not now, but
Oh, okay,
he was gonna tell you about it.
okay.
But it's
Hey,
not a-
Denny, can you put your audio on mute?
That's what it means.
Lewis, you were saying something?
Yeah, I think I have one. CleanMyMac, is that a good software to use?
I like it for some things, don't like it for others. The company that does it is a company called MacPaw. And one of the things that I like about it is the antivirus software that's in it. It works really well. And not antivirus, more of an anti-malware. It's a competitive malware bites. And that works really well. Some of the stuff works really well. You just have to be careful when you're cleaning duplicates. Because lots of times, like with me, when I used it to clean photos, duplicates in my photos library, it deleted the originals and left odd number photos. So I lost a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I
So
had
now when I use it, I just have it avoid the photos library.
okay, so I need to go through the set because I have some aliases and it got rid of them.
Hmm.
Stuff that I'm using it. I was looking for them and they were in the trash. So, okay, so I need to go through the settings and kind of click off what it should, what you want to keep and what you want to delete. What,
Right.
okay, okay,
Yeah, it's good for cleaning things like caches. I also recommend not setting it up to clean your email.
okay,
Only because I keep my emails, when I send an email to somebody with a file in it, I have that archived on my computer just in case I need that a year or so down the road. If CleanMyMac cleans my archived email, it'll delete it from there and I will lose that file.
okay,
So you have to be very careful with that as well. Just go through the settings, make sure you know what you're deleting before you delete anything.
okay.
I think the bigger question, Kevin, is do they save enough space to make it really worthwhile? Because most of what they're deleting really doesn't improve the performance.
It doesn't improve performance. And with today's drives, most people are only using 25 to 30% of it. So it doesn't matter. When you're using 80% of your drive, it may.
Yeah.
But if you're using 80%, buy an external drive and move things over. And avoid apps like that clean your Mac automatically. I've always considered CleanMyMac as, they call them PUPs, PUPs, potentially unwanted program, because it'll delete things that you don't want deleted. And some antivirus software considered CleanMyMac as something that you shouldn't have on your computer. And so you have to use it sparingly.
Yeah, back in the day, the developer had a distinctly bad reputation. Now, that may have changed. So,
Big time changed.
okay,
And they're in Ukraine. They're the guys that are behind SetApp. They have their own antivirus lab, which is one of the best in the world.
wow.
That CleanMyMac. I got an email from somebody the other day, and I just deleted it. Let me look here. I could give you the name of it.
Chris, are you thinking of Mac, was it Mac Keeper?
MacKeeper was bad, but even MacPod did not have good reputation back in the day when CleanMyMac first came out. When it was like CleanMyMac 1 and 2. They have something called Moonlock. It's a moonlock.com. And it's cybersecurity tech for humans. And it's really good explaining stuff that's out there. And it's also the engine that is being used in CleanMyMac for malware.
Okay. Yeah, clearly things are different now.
Oh yeah, big time.
One of the features that I really like in this is they have a setting called leftovers. And you can go in there and it will identify all of the sort of sawdust that's left over from old apps that you've deleted.
Yep.
But still sitting on your hard drive. And you can go through and get rid of all those little leftovers. I really like that.
Yeah, MacPaw is a great company these days, so.
Yeah, before I joined TMUG, I think that I downloaded from the App Store an undelete, or no, wait a minute, an uninstall app, since there obviously isn't one like there is in Windows. And I got very suspicious. Well, it was a Chinese developer and things with China were kind of going in the wrong direction. And I thought, okay. And then it asked me for access to various folders. And when it asked for my photos, I hit full stop. And I sent a note to the App Store and I said, guys, I think you need to look at this again. I happen to have pictures of Tibetans on my hard drive from a trip there, and I would be very unhappy about that. And I'm not sure what the motives are of this program. Well, they gave me a full refund with no questions. I'm not sure if it's still up there or not, but so, you know, bad things are about, even in the App Store.
Yeah, I use a program called AppDelete, which has been really, really good over the years. It was written by a guy named Reggie Ashworth, who unfortunately a few years ago died in a traffic accident. And his website up until a month ago was valid. Now it's empty. So he only charged like $8 for the software way back when.
I think you recommended it and I switched to it.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's no longer available because a friend of his maintained the website for a while and apparently they let it lapse because it's no longer up. So, and I haven't found any program that works as well as that does. You drop an app on it, it finds everything associated to that app and deletes it all in one swoop. Also lets you archive it. So if you want to reinstall it later, it's a single item that you have to reinstall, and it reinstalls all the files, including your serial numbers, your preferences, and everything else.
Gerald's got a question.
Yes, Gerald.
Oh, muted.
Jerry, you're muted.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Just because my microphone's turned off, you can't hear me.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Can you explain again the Moonlock thing and tell us links, names and stuff?
Yeah, it's moonlock.com.
Okay,
And what they are, it's the engine that is used by CleanMyMac.
okay.
They have a laboratory. I'm on their site. They talk. One site talks about their engine that they use. One talks about their labs. They have a blog that lets you know what's going on in the community, and it's written in layman's terms, so people like us could
Well, I need-
understand it.
Okay, thank you.
And they even have a newsletter that you could subscribe to.
And you said this is Ukrainian?
Yep, they're in
So
Ukraine.
tied to that setup, what is it called? Setup or something?
Yep, same company that runs SetApp.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions?
Anybody updated to the new Zoom?
I did.
Is it working?
Yeah,
Any
seems to
problems?
be.
Okay,
I did, mine's working.
okay.
Yeah, they changed it from Zoom to Zoom Workspace. So it now provides chat windows, I believe collaboration for files and everything else.
They keep trying to crabgrass their way into all your functions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it even lets you play music in your meetings, create group photos.
It's all for free,
far, it's
right?
been working okay for me.
Okay. I run a special interest group in my camera club, so I want to make sure it's working all right before I try it. 'Cause it's
Funds here.
Sorry, Kurt.
No problems here.
Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Anybody else?
Luis, is your butterfly picture a local picture, or where did you get that in your background?
Well, I believe I don't remember, but I think I have a few videos that's all about butterflies. So I did a screenshot, and I think I used that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tucson Botanical has a exhibit, I guess, every year. I just saw it this year. That special room with butterflies, and they're absolutely amazing. But they come from all over the world.
I just took my kids to see Kong versus Godzilla and Mothra's in it. When I first saw Luis, that's who I thought it was Mothra.
Oh, Gerald, are you the one that's in Monterey? You're no volume there.
I didn't want
What's
you
the
to
best
be
way?
tapping-
Quick question.
tapping. Yes, I'm in Monterey.
Yeah, in Monterey, they have a little park where all the monarch butterflies go every year.
Yes, they'll be there usually from September to about February.
Totally beautiful.
Oh, lovely. And that's where I got this shot behind me here.
Ridge, you had a question?
Quick question. What's the best way to protect against security? Like I seen on the news, like sometimes they steal your password and then they lock you out and they can steal your money. They can create a headache, I guess.
Well, the there's several key points to security on the Mac. Number one is be very, very careful on links that you click in emails, especially if it has anything to do with finances. That's number one. Number two, if you ever get a pop-up alert that says there's a problem with your Mac, call this 800 number. Do not ever call that 800 number. Because they will get into your Mac and then you will lose things. And most people do not need an antivirus app on their computer. But that does not mean that having one is a bad idea.
Haven't had one
So-
since about 2004.
I use Bitdefender on mine only because I do a lot of work in Windows and Linux, and I even do some stuff on the dark web when I search for stuff. So I never know. I've been lucky. It has never alerted me that I've had a virus or any malware. So, but I subscribe to it anyway, just to play it safe.
I'm thinking more about when there was a lady that went to a bar and it looks like someone saw the password or the phone number, and whether they photograph it or they saw her doing. Then when she left, they stole her purse and they stole the identity, and now it's impossible. Like even with your ID, with your license, you go to Apple, they're not gonna give you your photos. If they steal your ID, you can't get that back. How have they fixed that, or is that still a problem?
Well, there's multiple ways around that. There's a new feature in iOS called, well, there's several new features. Let me open up my phone and let me see here. Under sign in and security, I think it is. Give me a second. Okay, they have account recovery, which is something that you could do you could set up so that if something happens, you have a recovery key for your account. There's also another option of secure locations where your phone has to be used in a place that you frequent. Otherwise, they will not be able to change your password or anything like that. And then the third option is using a security key for two-factor authentication instead of having them send you a 6-digit code.
Okay.
So with a combination of those, it'll secure most devices.
And in addition, you should
I
have your
just
biometric,
suggested pizza and I
either a
use it.
fingerprint or a Face ID set up so you're not entering your passcode in public.
Right.
Wait, I didn't hear what you said.
Chicken, we also have that smoked trout or whatever it was you bought. We can do
Is
that.
Gerald, could you mute your mic real quick?
Oh, you have meeting.
Yeah, but even the facial thing, it's also a problem because there was something in the news that they got someone drunk, and then they put his face on the phone, and they were able to get in there. So looks like everything has a.
And there's also a shortcut to temporarily disable Face ID or Touch ID.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of that. So like, if you
I
have
can
your
keep
phone,
up with a lot of things.
if you're ever in a situation where you're worried about somebody grabbing your phone, if you tap the power button 5 times real fast,
Yeah.
that'll temporarily disable Face ID or Touch ID until you enter your passcode on the device.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that if you ever get stopped by a cop, make sure you do that so the cop can't grab your phone and go like this and unlock it. But if a cop ever asked me for my passcode, I would just hand it to him. I would unlock it personally.
what I seen also too internet in here and internationally, there are people with motorcycles and they go after someone who's using the phone. So the phone is open. So they grab it and then they run to someone who's specialized in getting the phone, and they can still, they can get into your bank accounts and rip you off that way too.
It all depends on how you have your app set up. If you have your app set up so that they don't need a passcode to get into, then yeah, they could do that. But if your apps, most banking apps require some sort of authentication these days. The only time I've seen it as a problem, and I've tried getting some of my clients to stop doing this, is they put their passwords in their notes app.
Yeah, they
And I'm sorry, not their notes app, their contacts. So they'll have a
Google
contact card for Apple.
Google
and in
Photos.
that is right.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that wherever you keep your passwords, whether it's a list or whatever, that it's encrypted.
Oh, sometimes they steal information little by little. They steal your mail, so they got their address. They break into the electric company. They get information there, and then they create a profile. So little by little, they can get into your,
And AI helps with that.
Yeah.
It's like all those surveys on Facebook that people fill out.
Yeah.
The only thing that does is it puts all your data in one centralized place for thieves to go through. Nothing is 100% foolproof. You just got to be vigilant.
I have a question.
Thank you.
Is anybody familiar with Incogni?
Incognito, you mean?
No, I think it's Incogni, Incogni.
Yeah, I've read about it, but I haven't used it.
Okay, I just was wondering.
And there's another similar program
Supposed to
called
protect
Delete
all
Me.
your personal data. It's supposed to erase all your personal data off the internet, so that none of your personal data is available.
That
Yeah.
sounds like sounds like something that you'd wish for, but I wouldn't trust it.
Kim Commando recommends it and runs specials on it with a coupon from her. So if you value Kim Commando, that's a reference at least.
Yeah, one thing that I would also recommend is have a good identity theft solution. There's a ton of them, LifeLock. I use one called Xander. Also, if you have an Apple credit card, you get free ID theft protection through Apple.
And Malwarebytes just brought out their own.
And another thing is that one of the things I don't like about those programs that you subscribe to, like say LifeLock will let you know that a website has found your email address and password on the dark web. They don't tell you what the password is. They don't tell you what the website is. But they tell you need to go and change your password. What do you do when you have 500 saved passwords in one password? There is a website called Scattered Secrets. And what Scattered Secrets does is you register with your email address. And then when you go to log in, they send a link to your email address that you click on to log in. So there's no password to be stolen. But Scattered Secrets has a list of the websites that were hacked and your email address and the actual passwords that were found on those emails, so you know which passwords to change.
Well, when I went to Sonoma, when I go to my system settings and then I go down there, I have a section there called passwords, and it has all my passwords in there. Are they protected?
And those are your passwords that are protected by iCloud. So anybody on any of your iOS or Mac devices that knows your admin password has access to that.
Okay.
I don't use Apple's. I use 1Password. I think it's a little bit more secure.
I do too.
So if you're using 1Password, you should have nothing in your iCloud keychain for passwords. Because they kind of conflict with each other.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I keep passwords in notes because my wife and I can access it from each other's computer. And last night, for instance, I was trying to enter a password for Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus. And Apple doesn't give you a chance to see what you're putting in. All I see is a big dot, so I don't know. So I tried this several times and never could get the password. It was a big long one. Never could get it to say password's okay. It always said that doesn't match either your email or your password don't match.
And you're doing this on an Apple
notes,
TV?
And I can copy it and I can paste it in there, and that's a different thing. Then that works.
No,
If they just get off of this thing about, I don't know why they think I've got somebody behind me or what it is. But why can't I see what I'm typing in there? 1Password started changing that, has changed that a little bit too, I think.
well,
So
there's an option of
now I
1Password to
can see what
not
I'm typing
hide.
in.
You go ahead. Somebody was going to say something.
Nope, that's it.
Okay, 1Password has an option of not hiding the passwords in 1Password, but every website that you enter a password in gives dots. 1Password lets you copy the password so you could paste it.
Yep.
So does Apple passwords. If you go in Safari, you go to your passwords and double click on one, you can see the password and copy it and then paste it. But using notes, is your note encrypted?
No, but I have a password that's just there, and it doesn't tie to anything else. It's just a password that I know it's there. I might have a number, a couple of letters or something, but nothing that really ties them together.
Okay.
But how many times does a computer hacker have to just collect a huge file and try every one of them, and they can do that awfully quickly.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't have them in a huge file like that. The only place they're in a huge file is 1Password.
And that should be secure enough.
Yeah.
1Password is an amazing app.
Well,
And it does more and more with each version.
When you go to 1Password and you go to edit the password that you have in there, there's a thing called reveal. And
right.
that lets you look at the actual password.
See the actual password, yes.
Yeah.
And there's also a section for you to view old passwords, which I like.
Right.
So you can see something that you've used in the past.
Great discussion here. I need to stop the recording and get ready for the general meeting at 7 o'clock. So we're going to stop this. You can keep on talking.